without fear, there's no bravery, never rock.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Heavy Bag Heroes. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving break. I did. Took the whole week off. It was good. Took the whole week off from work. Took the whole week off from Heavy Bag Heroes. Kept up with some of the news. For some reason, I thought UFC 323 was this weekend, so I was like, dang, I forgot to do a podcast for it. But luckily, it's not till, or this past weekend, it's not till this upcoming weekend, December 6th. So, Merab Dvalishvili versus Petr Yan, the rematch. Merab's fourth fight of the year. This will be not his fourth title defense, right? I don't know. Can't remember. We'll check it out. We'll look at it. We'll look at Merab's record. But fourth time fighting this year is freaking crazy. We also had Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker a couple weekends ago. Not this past weekend, but the weekend before. That card ended up being pretty good. We'll go over that to start the episode off. Going to hit kind of some of the highlights of both cards. Not going to cover everything from prelims top to bottom. Honestly, just don't have the time for it. But want to hit some of the big ones, the more notable ones. We'll hit some like Marvin Vettori's in the early prelims for UFC 323, so we'll talk about that and who he's fighting. Definitely talk about the main cards, just not able to get through the early prelims because we got a lot to talk about today. A lot to talk about. With UFC 324, Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje for the interim belt because Ilia Topuria has stepped down due to some personal things. Just weird stuff happening. Dana White and Hunter Campbell are not starting this Paramount Plus deal off very good, I think, for like the real UFC fans. I think it's good for maybe the general public. I don't know. It just isn't really seeming like, it's like they've lost. The only way I know how to describe it is it feels like Dana White's like lost the aspect of the sport and their ranking, like the reason for the ranking system. It's like he's making fights off of popularity contests now. Like he made the Diego Lopez versus Alexander Volkanovski 2, even though both of them were like Lerone Murphy and Mosavar Evolov were in line to fight Volk. And like this could be Volk's last fight. Like there are rumors of that circulating on Twitter or on X, whatever. Which I wouldn't be surprised either if he defends it. Like, who cares? Retire, dude. You're a freaking beast. But if not, we love having you around. Can't complain. So we'll just go ahead and get into it. We'll quickly go over the Arman Tsarukyan and Dan Hooker card. Just some kind of cool things that happened there. So Tigir lost. What I didn't realize is he hasn't fought in the UFC for 7 years, but he's been in another organization. And this was his first fight back in the UFC. Completely dominated, in my opinion, Tigir. Thought it was a really good fight. From Kyoji's point, he just fought really well. Islam and Habib were there. Both were very stressed out whenever he lost. So kind of unfortunate. And then going up, I had a prediction for this fight, Shamil Gaziev, but then Shamil's opponent backed out and Waldo Cortez stepped in and got the knockout in the first round. This was his like fourth fight of the year. Really good performance by him. He wants to fight again in January. He's starting to make a name for himself in the heavyweight division. But ended up being a pretty good fight. Shamil was fighting pretty good, but Waldo Cortez, like they were both kind of beating the crap out of each other, but Waldo just found the mark, popped him real good, and sent him to the ground, and that was that. Moving on for that, Jack Hermansson versus Orlabai. Jack Hermansson did not look great. Orlabai came out pretty hot, was looking really good, ended up getting the finish. Really strange finish. Basically glanced off of the temple of Jack Hermansson. A lot of people were saying he probably went down because of the weight cut. Apparently it was a really bad weight cut. Orlabai ended up getting the win. I think I had Jack originally. I thought Jack was going to have a good fight and get it done, but Orlabai came through. He got the KO first round. Really good performance by him. So one of Genghis Khan's, actually we're like all Genghis Khan's ancestors, or he's all of our ancestors. Is that right? Isn't he like responsible for like 7% of the world's population? Anyway, Volkan Ozdemir versus Alonzo Menningfield. I think I got this pick right. It's been a while. It's been a couple weeks since we've talked about this. Volkan looked great. He was hunting Alonzo the whole time. Alonzo kept backing up against the fence. Couldn't get off the fence, and he was swinging back pretty well, but Volkan just looked like really, really sharp. Ended up getting to him in a flurry of combinations, and I think it was like a left hook just landed perfectly on Alonzo and folded him. So that ended up being a really good fight. First round for let's see, 3 out of 4 on the main card, and then getting up to the welterweight bout, Bilal Muhammad versus Ian Machado Gary. Went about how you would expect it. Can't believe that Bilal went for the striking game again. I hate on Bilal a lot. I'm probably like a huge Bilal hater, but honestly, his striking is not half bad. But Ian Gary really just made it happen this fight. I thought he looked really good, really sharp. He got a couple eye pokes on Bilal, but Bilal kept moving forward. They were definitely not intentional, but he just outstruck him. I mean, Ian Machado Gary just outfought him. It was a good fight, but I don't think it was that close. I think a lot of people thought it was a lot closer, but I think it ended up being a unanimous decision. You can usually, doesn't say here. They don't put the odds on the website anymore. Yeah, unanimous decision for Ian Machado Gary. 96 strikes to 97. 72 significant strikes to 56. That's Ian Machado Gary, 72. But yeah, Ian Machado Gary, like, I wanted to hate him for a long time. I say I wanted to hate him. The dude's actually just a good dude. I'm going to be honest. He gets hated on a lot, but the dude's a good dude, and I really love his mindset when it comes to UFC stuff. And just fighting. Like, he seems like he is fully committed. He has his mission. He knows what his goals are. And it's very obvious. I don't really know how to describe it. Like, there are not a lot of fighters that have the mentality that Ian Machado Gary does, and I think we need to kind of like pay attention to him. I think he's really good. I would actually love to see Islam versus Ian Machado Gary. We need to look at that rankings because now that Ian's in the mix, it really mixes some things up in welterweight. Really mixes some things up. He beat Carlos Prates, so it's like, okay, do you do Marlon Morales versus Ian Machado Gary for the title eliminator, or do you do Marlon Morales versus Carlos Prates? I think I've already posted, maybe I haven't, but I know I said it in the last podcast. That's what I think is the fight to make. And maybe you do that for a title eliminator and you let Ian fight for the belt. I think that would be pretty good. I don't know. It's just like if Jack couldn't get it done. Maybe they do Ian Machado Gary versus Jack, and then that's a title eliminator as well. The welterweight division is just really weird because there's a lot of guys that are very deserving of the title. Although Marlon Morales made his jump really quick, I kind of don't think he should be in title contention if you're going to put anyone in. Like, him and Morales, I would probably say need one more. I think that Ian Machado Gary and Jack Della, I think if you made them fought for a title eliminator, that would be pretty solid. But it's like, what is Islam doing? He's just going to like watch these title eliminators happen. Like, he needs someone to fight next. So honestly, I think you do Ian Machado Gary for the title. Jack Della, I don't know what you do with him, to be honest. I don't know what you do with Jack. We'll have to go look at it. See what makes sense. And then for the main event, I genuinely became an Arman fan after this fight. Really didn't like him after he backed out of the fight with Islam. Freaking sucks. And while I was like, you got what you deserved for a really long time because he backed out because he hurt himself trying to impress Nina Drama, I'm just like, the dude is a great fighter, but it's like, because of you, Islam got to move up to 170, and like their first fight was unbelievably close and such a good fight. But here's like, I wanted to make a clip on this on social media. I wanted to compare Arman's ground game versus Islam's, because not only is Arman hunting for submissions, he is brutalizing his opponents on the ground. And one of the things that like stuck out to me the most whenever I rewatched this fight was that Arman had top control, and he would just take his elbow, put it on Dan's cheek, and just rub it in as hard as he could. And it was like right before the end of the first round or something like that. he just like genuinely is violent on the ground, which is something that is like he is scary. He's scary. That is something that I think is completely missing from Islam's game is the ground and pound. He's got those short little strikes that he does, but like Arman, if he is not going for a submission, he's trying to beat the crap out of you and brutalize your face. And it was very obvious in this Dan Hooker fight. Shout out to Dan Hooker for taking the fight. Like, I think he knew it was kind of a long shot for him to get the win because Arman's a freak, dude. Like, he is genuinely incredibly athletic, very good striker, really good with takedowns and in the clinch. Like, he's a phenomenal fighter, and he absolutely should be fighting for the belt, to which I'll get into here in a bit, and why this UFC 324 Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje just is like, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. But yeah, ended up being a pretty good fight night for what it was. So pretty pleased with that. We're going to go ahead and move into now the UFC 323 card. But before we do, check out heavybagheroes.com and get cool hoodies like this and cool shirts. Anyways, yeah, just going to kind of peruse through some of these prelims. We got Edson Barboza versus Jalen Turner. Haven't seen Jalen Turner in a while. Edson Barboza is coming in as the underdog, plus 210. Jalen Turner, 258. It's not like super heavy swinging, but that's like, yeah, it's a pretty clear favorite in Jalen Turner. Haven't seen Jalen Turner in a minute after his, I forgot who his last loss was. Let's check real quick. If it's going to work. Nope, I'm going to have to go to UFC stats. Yeah. Lost to Renato Moicano. Lost to Ignacio Bahamondes in the first round triangle choke. And that was back in March. And now he's fighting Edson Barboza. Should be really good. I can't believe Barboza is still fighting. Dude's a beast. He's been around for a long time. He's a legend in the sport. Man. I don't know. I feel like Edson Barboza won it. Oh, no, he lost his last two to Drakkar Klaus and Lerone Murphy. So he's coming up to fight at lightweight. Should be good for him. Should be able to have a better chin. I'm going to go with Jalen Turner on this, just being the younger guy and being longer. And Edson Barboza's getting older. They don't have his age in here, but he's much, much older than Jalen Turner. So I'm going to take Jalen Turner in this one. I think he can use his length. He hasn't fought in a while. Hopefully he's recovered pretty well. The only thing is Edson Barboza might kick his legs off, and Jalen Turner has some seriously long legs, so he's got to get active real quick in the first round. Then we've got Marvin Vettori. I really like this fight. Marvin Vettori versus Bruno Ferreira. Vettori's the underdog. It's really close. Minus 120 for Vettori, plus 100 for Ferreira. Pardon me. Vettori has not been doing super hot in the UFC right now, and Ferreira has. I think he did just lose recently, though. I think by submission. But yeah, Abus Magomedov, that was actually 3 fights ago. But then he's got 2 finishes in his last 2. So in his past 5, he's 4-1 with 1 loss to Abus Magomedov in the 3rd round. And I'm pretty sure he was winning that fight. But yeah, first round finish in his last fight, 2nd round finish, both submission arm bars. That's crazy. 2 arm bars. That's pretty wild. You don't see arm bars a whole lot in the UFC. I don't want to say they're rare, but you just don't see them that often. So it's pretty impressive he's able to get to that. Also has an unbelievable amount of power. I think Marvin Vettori is kind of working his way out of the door, unfortunately. He's on the early prelims here for this card. He just hasn't been, for one thing, he hasn't been an exciting fighter. His last fight, he lost to Brendan Allen. Wasn't a super exciting fight, but Brendan kind of beat the crap out of him. Roman Dolidze, he lost there. Literally nothing but unanimous decisions in his past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fights, and he won 4 of them. So I think he's kind of coming out the door. I think Bruno's young. I think he's hungry. I think he needs to be the favorite here, even though he's considered the underdog. The only thing is, like, Vettori has been proven very difficult to get to the ground and very difficult to knock out. But maybe this is the time. Maybe it's the time. Maybe it's time for his granite chin to go. So I'm going with the underdog here. We're going to bet some money on it, make a little bit. Bruno Ferreira from Brazil. I think that he's going to get it done. I think he's going to get it done for a middleweight bout. Moving into the prelims, Macy Barber versus Karine Silva. That should be a pretty good fight. I think the last time I bet on Karine, she did not do well, even though she had several finishes in a row. Where's that at? Yeah, several finishes, and then the one fight I bet on her, she lost by decision. She won her last fight by decision. She's only got one loss in the UFC out of 7. Macy Barber on a good fight, on a good 6-fight win streak. One finish in there, most are unanimous decisions. What do they have for the favorite here? No odds here. If I'm going to pick one, I'm going to go with, I don't know, man. I think I'm going to go with Karine Silva. You know what? Can't happen twice in a row, right? Bet on her once, she lost. I'm going to bet on her again. Karine Silva taking Macy Barber down. I think it's going to be a finish. Don't know how it's going to be a finish. Probably a submission. I think it's possible. I don't think... It's pretty good. This should be a pretty good fight. Like, they're both great fighters. They both got good records. Macy Barber's, earlier in her career, she was knocking people out. So she's got the knockout power. Not her last fight, but the fight before that, she got the knockouts done. Karine Silva, though, she's gotten a ton of finishes, and then she's had a couple decisions in her last couple fights, but I think it's time for her to get another finish. So we're going to go with Karine Silva here in this women's flyweight bout, number 5 versus number 9. Moving up, we've got lightweight bout, Terrence McKinney coming back versus Chris Duncan. Whew. You never know with Terrence McKinney. The dude, got knocked out several fights in a row after getting several knockouts in a row. He's won his last 2. Both finishes in the first round. Chris Duncan has won his last 3 with 2 submissions and 1 unanimous decision. Outstruck. Oh, wow, that's actually kind of crazy. Chris Duncan had 92 strikes versus Rebecki's, I don't know how you say his name, 114. But he still won the unanimous decision. Must have been significant strikes. Man, I don't know. I don't know with Terrence McKinney. Super long, can get it done, has the ability to get finishes. Chris Duncan's 14-2. Has he ever been knocked out? Let's check. He got submitted. His first fight in the UFC, got knocked out. Rest, he's only got 3 decisions on his record out of 8 fights. It's not too terrible. I don't know. They don't have any. Oh, they do have odds here. So Vegas is favoring Chris Duncan. I think that's a good pick. I think I'd pick that. I think with just how frail, unfortunately, I hate to use that word, Terrence McKinney's chin has been, I think it's like you got to kind of bet against him, unfortunately. Same size, 2-inch reach advantage for McKinney. I don't know. I'm going to go with Chris Duncan. If that's who Vegas is favoring, I'll go with that. Then we've got Grant Dawson fighting out of America's Top Team versus Manuel Torres. Don't know much about Manuel, but I do know that Grant Dawson, heavy wrestler, but has been knocked out in the past. Has a really good streak in the UFC. He's only got 1 loss out of several fights. Good grief. 14 fights. He's got 1 loss and 1 draw. That's crazy. Yeah, he is a huge wrestler. I mean, it'll probably be Grant. I can't imagine. Manuel Torres, he's got 6 fights in the UFC with 1 loss, got knocked out. Not last fight, but the fight before. Only finishes in the UFC. Dead yum. Lots of KOs. 1 submission, rear naked choke. All first round. Oh, this could be a banger. I love lightweight fights, man. I love lightweight fights. But usually Grant Dawson is such a wrestler, and if this guy's a striker, if Manuel Torres is a striker, this is a very favorable matchup for Grant Dawson because he has done very well against strikers with his wrestling. So I'm going to go with Grant Dawson on this. So is Vegas. I think that's a safe bet to make. I think Manuel Torres, I don't know. I'd have to go see him fight, but Grant Dawson's, he's kind of like, dude's kind of old reliable. I think he does really well. He's number 13, trying to climb up. He's fighting down in the rankings, which is kind of surprising. For as many fights he's had in the UFC, just kind of crazy. 14 fights, only 1 loss, and he's only 13. Lots, plenty of finishes. Very interesting. Very interesting. I'm learning things here as you are learning them. Getting out of the prelims, the king is back. I am a huge Jan Blachowicz fan. I freaking love this guy. Steel shins. Freaking beast. I'm not even going to look at the odds, but I'm going with Jan on this. Love Jan. Glad he's back. It's been quite some time since he's fought. I don't even know how long. Let's look here. His last fight, lost to Carson Olberg back in March of 22. Before that, lost to Alex Berheda back in 23. Took 24 all the way off. So this is his second fight of the year. Poor guy. Now that I'm looking at his record, I'm like, yeah, dang, he kind of got shafted. He got a draw versus Magomed Ankalaev. Probably shouldn't have been a draw. Alex Berheda was a loss. That was like, ooh, that very well could have been called for Blachowicz. Carson Olberg, I don't even remember watching that fight. I probably did, but unanimous decision. He lost. Looks like he got outstruck. So time for Blachowicz to get back in the win column. Bogdan lost his first fight in the UFC versus Volkan. Is on a 4-fight winning streak. All finishes, all within the first 2 rounds. 3 sets of knockouts and 1 guillotine choke. But he has not faced the Polish power of Jan Blachowicz. I'm going with Jan Blachowicz. He's got the 2-inch reach advantage, 3-inch reach advantage in the legs. I'm glad they measured leg reach now. He is barely the favorite, minus 120. He's got championship experience. This should be a great fight. I'm really excited for this one. If Jan does what Jan does, he could probably break him down, get the win. I just love Jan. I love Jan Blachowicz. When I play like UFC 5 or something, and I get like a light heavyweight matchup, I love playing with Jan. Then we've got Henry Cejudo, I believe is retiring once again. This will be his like 10th retirement from the UFC, fighting Peyton Talbot. Just out of my hatred for Henry Cejudo, I'm going with Peyton. He's the favorite, which I actually think is kind of crazy. Minus 285 for Peyton, plus 230 for Henry Cejudo. Triple champ, former bantamweight and flyweight champion, also Olympic champion. Has not looked the same since he rejoined the UFC for the second time. Lord knows how many times he's retired. I can't even remember. Peyton Talbot looked pretty good on his last time out. Got the win. Don't think he got the finish, though. Let's go look real quick. Yeah, unanimous decision versus Felipe Lima. Looked a lot better than his last fight where he lost versus Renoy Barcelos. I like Peyton Talbot, man. But Henry Cejudo, he's fully capable of getting it done. I think I'm going with Peyton Talbot just because I don't like Henry and his 50 million retirements. I think Peyton can get it done. I think he's done. The only fight he didn't do well with wrestling was the one he lost. But I think he learned a lot from that. I think he did really good in his next fight. Don't think there was a ton of wrestling. I think it was primarily striking. The only thing is he keeps his chin way up. But I don't know. I mean, it's an incredible height advantage. 5'4" to 5'10". Peyton has got to take advantage of that. It is a 6-inch reach advantage and a 3-inch leg reach advantage for Peyton Talbot. And I think he can absolutely use all of that. Triple champ, I think, is kind of checked out. He seems to not really care. He's made podcasts where he's been like, I'm just not into it anymore. So maybe he's just coming in, going to see what he can do and get out. We'll see what happens there. Then we've got the freaking GOAT! Brandon Moreno, the number 2 flyweight versus Tatsuro Taira. I think that's how you say his name. Man, Brandon Moreno has looked like a completely new fighter since he took that long amount of time off. I don't even know how long it was. Let's see. He lost to Brandon Royval in February of 2024. Came back at the end of the year versus Amir Albiza. Alabiz, however you say it. Albazi. Great fight. Just beat the brakes off of Amir. And then came back versus Steve Urseg in March 29th of 2025. Got the win there as well. I just don't think you're beating Brandon Moreno. Man, I'm sorry. I just don't think you can do it. I think he's on a hot streak. So is Taira. He's done pretty well in the UFC. Looks like he's got 8 fights, 1 loss. All of them finishes except for 2. But I just think Brandon Moreno's that guy. I think he's reinvented. I think he's got it going for him right now. Very close fight. Minus 102 for Brandon Moreno. Minus 118 for his opponent, Tatsuro. I got to go with Brandon Moreno here. Dirty boxer. Great fighter. This is going to be a tough one for Tatsuro to get past. Man, I love Brandon Moreno. Yeah, he just looked really good his last couple times out. So, moving on to the flyweight title bout. This one's going to be fun. Alexandre Pantoja versus Joshua Van. Pantoja's probably had the most dominant championship run out of all of the champions right now. And it's not saying a whole lot for the flyweight division compared to the level of competition in the other ones. But, I mean, this dude has just been utterly dominant to the point where they're just, like, throwing anyone they can at him. Like, Joshua Van came up. I don't even know what his ranking was before he fought. Not Brandon Moreno. I got to go look at it now. Can't remember crap these days. Brandon Royval. What a freaking barn burner of a fight. Great fight. Great freaking fight. Joshua Van is a phenomenal striker. I don't think he gets it done versus Pantoja. I think Pantoja is just on a different level. For a while, I was kind of like, Pantoja is not as good as Brandon Moreno. He won the belt. But, like, he's defended it super well. He's defended it against a lot of tough opponents, except for the one where they brought that guy over from whatever organization that was, and he got submitted in the second round. But he's getting the crap beat out of him up until that point. Joshua Van's a great striker, but Alexander Pantoja's great on the ground. Great ground and pound, also a great striker. I don't think Joshua Van's getting it done by knockout. I think Pantoja's probably going to control him on the ground, wrestle him around a lot, go for the finish. That's what he does. He's the favorite, minus 238 to Joshua Van's plus 195. I do love Joshua Van because he's from Houston, H-Town, hold it down. I'm not from Houston, but I'm close enough. Yeah, I think that Pantoja's going to take it, as he has, and continued his incredibly dominant streak. He won the belts off of Moreno back in 2023, has defended it 4 times since then. The last 2 being finishes. It's going to be a good fight. I'm going with Alexander Pantoja, though. Really freaking good. Then we've got Merab Dvalishvili versus Petr Yan. Okay. I don't know if Merab is able to sustain what he's doing right now. He's the favorite, minus 485 to plus 370. This is a hard one. This is a difficult one because the last time they fought, Merab broke the record for takedowns on Petr Yan. It was like, golly, how many takedowns was it? He scored 11 takedowns out of 49 attempts. Which is like, that's an insane defensive rate for Petr Yan. I just kind of think I don't know, man. I think Petr Yan, he had that 3. He lost the belt to Sterling. I would say he kind of barely beat Corey Sandhagen. I really thought Corey Sandhagen won that fight. He lost to Aljamain again pretty decisively. Lost to Sean O'Malley, which people would argue that he won that fight. And then he pretty decisively lost to Dvalishvili. Beat Song Yadong. Beat Davison Figueiredo. Beat Marcus McGee. I think Petr Yan might be back. And I think it may be time for him to reclaim his bantamweight title. I'm going with Petr Yan on this. He is the underdog. I think that I think a couple things. I think Merab has fought a lot this year. And although much smaller than Alex Pereira, I do think fighting as much as he has can take a toll on you. And I think Petr Yan has had some good time off. I think he has done really well in his past 3 fights. And I think he's back. I think he's back. I want to take Petr Yan because I think he's going to outstrike Merab. He's just got to come up with a good game plan to get off the fence. That's where Merab shines. He does not do well in the middle of the octagon, but he will back you up against the fence, and he will take his shots, and he will pin you up against the fence, and that's where he'll just take you down and take you down and take you down and take you down. But supposedly, both fighters were hurt in the first fight, so if both of these guys come in healthy, like they should, then we should have a really good fight on our hands. And I think Petr Yan can get it done. I think Petr Yan can outstrike him. I think he can defend the takedowns. I even think he can get takedowns. But Merab is like on an absolute tear. And I hate to even I don't want to say root against Merab because I'm not rooting against him. I think he's just had an unbelievable title run. I just think it's like, man, 4 fights this year, right? This will be his 4th fight. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this will be his 4th fight this year. I just think that's a lot on a guy. Like Berheda, lost to Magomed, went the distance, took a ton of time off, came back, fought Magomed, knocked him out in the first round. So I think Merab needs to take a little bit of time off, but who knows? I mean, like my official vote is for Petr Yan. I think he's going to get the belt back. It'll be awesome. But Merab is kind of on a freakish level. But I think like that momentum can definitely wear off. I think it's possible for it to wear off, especially when you fight as much as he has. So going with Petr Yan, I don't think it's going to be a finish. Probably be a decision. I think it's just time. He is just so unbelievably skilled. So unbelievably skilled. Like I would say Petr Yan is a much more rounded fighter than Merab Dvalishvili. He's like not just good in a bunch of like all around in just a bunch of different areas. I think he is genuinely great in all of those areas, in the wrestling and the striking and the ground game, where Merab is really good at the clinch, like phenomenal, above Petr Yan in the clinch and in the takedown. And the only reason he's been good at striking is because of the same thing as Islam. The only reason they're good at striking is because of the takedown threat. So, but I don't think Petr Yan's going to be too worried about it. I think he's going to really come out and probably press Merab pretty hard, step forward to him. I think it's going to be a good fight. I'm actually excited for it. Really good card. Really good card. Super excited about it. So, all right. I'm going to run into the rankings here real quick because we got some weird stuff going on. We got some weird stuff going on in the welterweights. We got some weird stuff going on in the lightweight. As I said earlier, they have announced Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett for the interim title in January for UFC 324. Ilia Topuria came out and announced that he will not be fighting in the first quarter of 2026 due to personal issues. The rumor on the street right now is that he is going through a divorce with his wife, possibly losing custody of his kids. She's coming for half of everything he owns. It's a whole ordeal, which sucks. I don't know what he did. I don't know if he did anything at all or if it's just like, if it's over. I hate that for him. You hate to hear stuff like this for anyone, especially seemingly good guys. Obviously we don't know a ton about his personal life. I'm sure people over in Spain do. But Dana White, what the hell are you doing, bro? Dana and Hunter. Making Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje just does not make any sense when you've got Armand Charles and Max at 1, 2, and 3. Max clears Paddy Pimblett. There is no doubt about that. He already beat Justin Gaethje. Charles Oliveira beats both of them. Has beat Gaethje. Armand Tarsukian beats all 4 of them. Armand said he was ready to fight in January. He wanted the fight. Justin Gaethje was threatening if he doesn't get the fight. It's just like Justin Gaethje was threatening if he doesn't get the belt, a fight for the belt. He doesn't get to fight for the belt. Good Lord. Let me redo that for the clip. Justin Gaethje has threatened that if he doesn't get to fight for the belt, I don't know how true this is, but I've seen it in a lot of different places, and I feel like I've heard him say it, that he will retire from the UFC. And I wonder if that is why they made the fight. But it just doesn't make any sense when you've got Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira, which those two are probably going to fight in Brazil for the BMF title, which is just like, they just keep making matches where we're fighting guys that are my favorite fighters, all these fan favorites, and they're just making them not fan favorites. And it's like, Justin Gaethje's a fan favorite, but because of what they've done now, he's like not really a fan favorite because everyone's like, you whined and complained, and now you got the title fight. It just doesn't make any sense what's going on in the UFC right now, like the fights they're making. I don't want to go over the whole 324 card. I'll just glance over it. I mean, it's a great card. Justin Gaethje, Paddy Pimblett for the main event. And then you've got freaking two of the greatest female fighters, like to Ariel Helwani's point, you've got Justin Gaethje and Patty Pimblett, number 4 and number 5, fighting for the lightweight interim bout over Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes. Like, a lot of people hate on female fights, which is like sometimes justified, but Amanda Nunes puts on a freaking show every time she goes out there, and so does Kayla Harrison. This will be an insane fight. Like, this should genuinely be the main event. I don't know why it's not. You got Sean O'Malley and Song Yadong coming in after that, or before that. Waldo Cortez, who just fought on this past fight night, got a knockout fighting Derek Lewis. That's going to be nuts. Arnold Allen versus Jan Silva. Alexa Grasso versus Rose Namajunas. Like, those are two bangers right there. Umar Nagomedov versus Davison Figueiredo. Another banger. And then I don't know who these last two guys are, but really great card. But it's just like, what are you doing? Why? Like, every time I see this fight, I'm just like, it just makes me more and more mad at Dana White, because he also made the Diego Lopez and Volkanovski 2 fight. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's just like, I feel like Dana has just completely lost, and Hunter, all aspect of the sport, because you've got these guys in the lightweight division, like I said, 1, 2, and 3, ready to go. They're ready to fight. Max Holloway is ready to fight. Charles Oliveira is ready to fight. Arman Tsarukyan is ready to fight. But no one is more deserving of fighting for the title than Arman Tsarukyan. If anything, it should have been, at minimum, Arman versus Patty Pimblett for the interim, or Arman versus Justin Gaethje for the interim. He should have been in that fight. But Dana White saw popularity contests, and Patty Pimblett's, all his opponents have been over 36 years old, unfortunately. And like, you don't fault the guy for it, but it's just like, Patty Pimblett has followers, Justin Gaethje has followers. That's the fight to make. Arman does not have the following that either of those guys has, but it just doesn't make any sense. Like, Max Holloway could have fought for the title. Charles could have fought for the title. Justin, like, he can fight for the title, but it's like his last fight after Max was Rafael Fiziev, which was a late notice step in. I don't know, man. It's just kind of weird. The weird part to me, or the part that kind of like makes Justin go from a fan favorite to like not as much of a fan favorite, is like Dustin kind of got the same treatment, but he didn't ask for the title fight. He didn't demand the title fight, but they gave it to him. When it was time for them to find someone to fight Islam and no one was ready, they're like, Dustin, will you fight? And he was like, hell yeah, of course I will. Where Justin is like, I'm not doing anything unless I fight for the title. I'm making one last run, and it's like, he's made that very obvious. He's made it very apparent. But I think Justin gets it done versus Patty. It'll be a really good test for Patty. People use the age thing with Justin, but I just don't know if that really matters. The dude, like, every time he comes out, he puts on a show. So they call him the human highlight for a reason. Could be really interesting. I could see Patty going for a really heavy wrestling approach, really just trying to get Justin to the ground, because he's been shown to be submitted by Habib and Charles, and Patty is phenomenal on the ground. Not as good on the feet as Justin, but Justin is incredible at staying on his feet. So we'll do more of a breakdown. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Dana White, like, I don't know why he made this fight. I understand that it's an interim fight while you're waiting on Ilya to come back, but I just feel like there were just better options. There were much better options. And he made some comments about Tom Aspinall, basically being like, Tom quit the fight. He was getting beat up and he quit the fight. And I just think that's a horrible thing to say about your heavyweight champion. It's just frustrating that he said that about him. I think it's kind of a lame thing to do. He made the Volk versus Diego Lopez fight, the second fight, which I'm like, Diego Lopez is absolutely deserving. But Lerone Murphy just came off of a first-round spinning elbow knockout, is undefeated in the UFC. And while his caliber of opponents has not been as good as Diego's, and Diego did just come out and beat the brakes off of an up-and-comer, I still think you just got to do, like, I don't want to say the right thing, but just doing the rematch this soon when you've got Mosavar Evolov at the number 1 spot, even though he hasn't fought in a while, it's just like, what's the point of the rankings then if you're just going to let people jump? If you're going to let 5 and 4 in the lightweight division jump up to the interim title when you've got 3 guys, 1, 2, and 3 waiting in the wings. And then you've got Molsovar, Evolov, no idea what's going on with him. And Lerone Murphy, I don't know why he's not number 3. He's shown at number 4. Yair Rodriguez above him. Very strange. I just think you should have done Molsovar, Lerone. And like even Diego Lopez said they were both deserving. Even Volk said they were both deserving. But they're like, we're going to give you Diego Lopez again. And I'm just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I know Diego Lopez and Volkanovski put on a fight. Absolutely. But it just hurts to watch. It's like, I don't know why Hunter and Dana cannot stop making these fan favorite matchups. Like Alexander versus Molsovar would have been phenomenal. No one really likes Molsovar. No one really likes Lerone Murphy. I say no one really likes him. Like, they're just not fan favorites. So it would have been like, sweet. Got to see that. Diego Lopez is a fan favorite. Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje, both fan favorites. You're going to have Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira fight. Both fan favorites. Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway. Both fan favorites. It's just like, what are we doing? Just very frustrating. It's like they've completely lost the aspect of what the sport is and what the sport is about. There is a ranking system for a reason, and it needs to be honored. And there have been plenty of times that when you look at the rankings, a fighter's not ready, they've just fought, they've got one lined up, they're injured, whatever it may be, so someone jumps up to fill the place for the championship role. But when you've got 3 healthy guys above your 4th and 5th guy, why are they not fighting for the title? They're in the wings and they're ready to fight. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm not a part of these conversations that they're having at the UFC PI and calling these guys and setting up these fights. But as a fan looking in, it just doesn't make any sense other than just like, what's going to give me the most popular, what are the most popular fights I can make for this Paramount Plus opener? And it's just frustrating. Like, I know you're not going to put, this is where it's like, it really showed its face is when you don't put the Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes fight as the main event. Like, if this card had been put together in 2025 before the Paramount Plus, they would have been the main event because Dana just doesn't care. Like, he's like, that's the right thing to do. But because it's Paramount Plus, they're bringing in a bunch of new people. I am so glad they're switching away from the pay-per-view system, even though Dana said there is some stuff that you may have to come back and pay for. Just so freaking lame. I just don't get it. Just don't get a lot of it. So, I mean, it's a good card, UFC 324. Like, it's a grade A card. But I just don't know why you're doing Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett for the interim lightweight title. It's like Justin Gaethje's second interim lightweight title. So, could be Justin Gaethje's last fight, but it's like Justin Gaethje wins this, he's going to fight Ilya, which is a matchup I like. I like that matchup a lot, but I think Ilya gets to his chin, unfortunately. I genuinely think the only person in this division at lightweight that can beat Ilya Topuria is Max Holloway. Like, I genuinely believe that. Or if Islam comes down. So, very strange. And then the welterweight division, that's just like, the welterweight division's too good right now. You've got essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys who are ready to fight for the belt. I would argue Carlos Bretes, Michael Morales, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Ian Machado Gary, and Jack Della. So I don't know what you do. I don't know if you immediately make Islam versus Ian Machado because Ian's number 2. Dana did say Morales versus Sean Brady was a title eliminator. I don't think that should be right. I think if Sean won, then yes, he should have fought for the belt. That would have been perfect. Really good matchup. I think you have to do Bretes versus Morales, and you have to do Jack Della versus Shavkat. I forgot Shavkat was in the running earlier. Jack Della versus Shavkat would be great. Michael Morales versus Carlos Bretes, and then Ian fights for the belt. And then you got to figure out between those 4, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Jack Della. I mean, really, it's like Shavkat, Jack Della, whoever wins that goes on to fight for the title. And then the next one's waiting in the wings. Maybe they take another fight. So, we'll see. I'm not even going to look at middleweight because Khamzat's not going to fight for 2 more years. Guy drives me insane. Yeah, UFC's in a very interesting place right now. Very interesting place. Let's look at some drama. Let's look at some UFC stuff. Some UFC Instagram. This is a really good representation of Dana White right now. So the meme here is how the title conversations with Baldy, a.k.a. Dana White, went. Max Holloway, BMF, KO'd Gaethje, former champ, beat Dustin. Arman Tsarukyan, 5-win streak, number 1 contender. Dana White says no. Patty Pimblett, I beat King Green. Justin Gaethje, I'm retiring if I don't get the title shot. And then Dana, holy F, these kids are special. Give them the title shot. Pretty much sums it up very well. Then you've got, I forgot what this guy's name is. Alex Pereira boxing the French giant, heavyweight giant. He's fighting in karate combat right now. Doing really well. Just knocking dudes out. He makes Pereira look so small, and Pereira is not small. Big dudes. Doing a little sparring. Alex is crazy. He always is just like, he spars heavy and often. He spars heavy and so often. Gets to his chin, gets kind of cracked with the left. Oof. Alex has a chin on him. Like, I truly believe the weight cut versus Adesanya is what got him knocked out. And then you've got this interaction, Ian Gary with Khamzat Chimaev. Very strange moment after the fight that Ian won. The security guard steps in between Khamzat and Ian, and Ian's like, "I'm not going to fight, dude. We're good. He's a champion. Treat him real good." And then Khamzat just starts cussing him out for no reason. Somehow gets his ego hurt. Khamzat is such a baby. He's such a little weenie baby. Like, genuinely. I mean, he beat the crap out of me, but he just he gets his ego hurt so easily. I have no idea why. No idea why. Then we got some crazy moments. Orlabai. Boink. Oh, wait, I got it. Boink. Yeah, there it is. Orlabai's knockout. He really, if you go back and watch it, he just glances off of his temple. It is nothing crazy. Another crazy knockout. Luke Riley debut KO. Nice little check left hook. Took him down pretty well. And here's a nice little insane spinning kick knockout. Foot to face, straight to the ground. Yeah. Anyways, well, that's all I got tonight. Hopefully the rest of the year is going to be good. I'm really excited to see. They're starting the Paramount Plus cards at an earlier time. Kind of did this impromptu. Needed to get something done. We're going to get a little more organized here in the future. Once I start putting a little more effort into it, been taking care of some other things. It's the end of the year. It's the holidays. Just trying to enjoy it. Hopefully putting some content out this week as well. So really excited for UFC 323. I think it's going to be a great card. And then starting the year off with UFC 324. I'm ready for these fight night announcements. So I'm assuming we're going to get a lot of those Saturday and through the next coming weeks because they've got to fill up January somehow. Right now, I think UFC 324 is the end of January, if I am not mistaken. So they've got to have some stuff in between. Yeah, Royval versus Cape is December 13th. January 24th is Gaethje versus Pimblett. So either they're taking 3 weeks off or they're going to have some fight nights in between. I feel like they'll have fight nights in between. And it should start with Max Holloway. Like 2020. Gosh, what years were those? Those were freaking amazing. Let me look it up real quick. Max Holloway had like the best year openers. What the heck? Where's Max Holloway? Max Blessed Holloway. Let's go look at when that was. Yeah, he comes out the gate January 16, 2021, beats the brakes off of Calvin Kattar. End of that year, he fights Yair Rodriguez. Crazy freaking fight. I felt like he had 2 fights in January. Like, what was that? Maybe, I guess it was just the one. I thought he started out the year twice, and it was just like, holy crap, those were freaking awesome fights. But I guess not. Maybe it was just a January and November. Anyways, yeah, that Calvin Kattar fight was nuts. It's one of the best performances ever by any UFC fighter in the history of the UFC, in my opinion. So, glad to be back. Like I said, we'll get a little better in the podcast. I don't know why I keep talking about that. Doesn't freaking matter. We talk about UFC. Talk about UFC, brother. So, just wanted to get something on the books for the week. Probably do another one, actually, this week after I do a little more research because I want to do the whole card, top to bottom. So, got to get back in the flow this week. Got a big work week ahead. Got to get ready, mentally prepared for that. A lot of stuff going on the job. So, all right, everybody. Have a blessed night. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. Peace.